This might be the single most controversial chapter in the history of Black Clover. Asta's new anti-magic ability is so overpowered that he's being referred to as the anti-magic god. But a lot of people are upset about this new massive power-up. And they're also upset about how the fight between a major villain and the Black Bulls just ended. Social media is blowing up with angry fans and then other fans who are angry at the angry fans, so we need to talk about it all right now. You guys know how this works. If you enjoy my Black Clover content and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like and comment right now to help me out with that YouTube algorithm. And if you're one of the over 50% of people who watch my videos but haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, do me a big favor and subscribe right now. We're trying to hit 2 million subscribers. That would be insane. Finally, this video will contain Black Clover manga spoilers, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. So 2 chapters ago, we had that amazing moment where a crying Sakura called out to Asta in desperation, and he appeared just in time to save the Black Bulls from absolute annihilation. In the last chapter, Asta did what protagonists do, and he absolutely wrecked Damnatio in one shot using a combination of Zetin and the Demon Slasher Katana. Now, even though Asta's attack looked like he just sliced right through Damnatio's entire body, which would obviously be a fatal wound, at the end of my video on the last chapter, I warned you guys not to assume that Damnatio is actually dead. As I said back then, for all we know, Asta might have just released Damnatio from Lucius's control, just like he did to Sister Lily. And guess what, guys? That is exactly what happened. As the narration tells us, a single stroke from Asta's sword caused the spell that Lucius had cast over Damnatio to unravel. Remembering his past with Asta and the Black Bulls, Damnatio can't believe that the Black Bulls were the ones who ended up saving him from Lucius's control, but he seems relieved nonetheless. Asta tells Damnatio to sleep now, and he promises that he will wake him up too, just as he's planning to do with Sister Lily. So no, Damnatio is not dead. And speaking of people who you thought might be dead but definitely aren't, let's move on to the rest of the chapter. Asta rushes back to where the wounded bodies of his Black Bull comrades are lying, along with the bodies of the witches. Ichika, Sakura, and Finral are standing over everyone, and Sakura is still sealing all of their wounds while Finral is tending to them. The Witch Queen sees what's happening, and she suddenly uses her overpowered blood magic to encase all of the wounded witches and Black Bulls into cocoons made of blood. She had already used this spell on Asta earlier in the story, and its name is Curse-Breaking Blood Cocoon. But this time she is using it on a much more massive scale as she attempts to heal everyone at the same time. So by using virtually all of her magic power, the Witch Queen manages to save everyone, including those who were on the verge of death like Gray and Gauche. She says that their survival is all thanks to Sakura because she was able to keep everyone alive by sealing off their wounds, and this is what ultimately allowed the Witch Queen to heal them. However, the Witch Queen's decision to use up nearly all her power for this spell comes at a great cost to her. She asks Vanessa to take her place as the next Witch Queen because she is no longer capable of holding this position. When we see the Witch Queen's face, it is clear that she has aged several decades in just a matter of moments. Now, we've already known that the Witch Queen is actually like hundreds of years old, and it seems like she has been using her immense magic power to keep herself young. But now that she has used up nearly all that power, she is no longer able to keep up the appearance of youth. Vanessa is caught off guard by the offer to become the next Witch Queen, and Dorothy Unsworth actually speaks up and volunteers to take the position of Witch Queen herself. This kind of lets Vanessa off the hook, since I doubt that she would want to stay inside the witch's forest instead of being with her comrades, the Black Bulls. The Witch Queen doesn't seem to have a problem with this, and she moves on to more pressing matters. She says that the Black Bulls will recover, and when they do, Asta has some special trick up his sleeve. Asta confirms that he does, and he thanks the Witch Queen for everything that she's done. We then see a quick flashback to Hino, in which Ryu mentions that Asta is able to apply anti-magic power to something, such as to a sword like Yami's former katana, which became Asta's Demon Slasher Katana. Ryu believes that if Asta can pour anti-magic into objects, like swords, then perhaps he can also share it with other people, like the time with the Demon Dweller sword in the dungeon. This is referring all the way back to chapter 19, when Asta was able to combine the power of Demon Dweller with Noelle's water magic. Basically, the sword was able to absorb Noel's water magic and then release the water magic into an attack directed at Mars. Ryu believes that now that Asta has mastered Zetten and is much more skilled at harnessing the power of anti-magic, he may be able to pull off a lot more than just borrowing someone else's magic and using it in an attack. Ryu believes that Asta may be able to share his anti-magic with others, and more specifically, with his allies. Back in the present time, Asta holds aloft his magic sword and says, "By the power of Grayskull!" Okay, fine, he doesn't really say the He-Man line, but he does use Demon Dweller to launch a bunch of anti-magic beams into the other Black Bulls. And thanks to their affinity to Asta and all the time they've spent together, the Black Bulls are suddenly able to become anti-magic users. Not only did they all survive, but they now apparently also can use anti-magic because Asta is sharing it with them. Not only that, but even the appearance of the Black Bulls changes in order to reflect their new anti-magic abilities. Their outfits and appearances become darker, some of their hair turns black or they get new black streaks in their hair. Rouge apparently becomes a black cat, and together they all declare that in this new form, they are now the strongest. As Asta exclaims, "Let's go save the world," this chapter comes to an end, and boy did this generate a ton of controversy. The craziness of this twist is all that the Black Clover fandom on social media is talking about, and while there are some people defending this and saying that they liked the chapter, a lot of other people, including people who consider themselves to be fans of Black Clover, are either disappointed or outright angry about what just happened. But what exactly is the problem, and why are people so upset? There seem to be two main reasons. The first and less controversial one is Tabata's decision to once again heal everyone, including those who were right on the verge of death like Gray and Gauche. Let's be honest, this was a case of Tabata using yet more fake-out deaths to add tension to the story, but that tension was short-lived, and personally I didn't feel any tension because I knew this would happen. It's happened so many times before. We had the Gaja fake-out, the Yuno fake-out, the Julius fake-out, and so many other times when severely injured people were just healed by Mimosa or miraculously recovered as a result of some other convenient plot device. Now, there are people out there who will argue that you don't have to kill off characters to have a good story, and that's a fair point to an extent. Of course, there are many great slice-of-life anime or like sports anime that don't kill off characters, and that doesn't take away from their quality. However, Black Clover is a battle shonen, and it is currently in the middle of a massive war arc that features extremely intense and potentially deadly magical battles. I mean, the main villain Lucius is practically a god in terms of his insane power. So if you don't kill off anyone under such extreme circumstances, you definitely lower the tensions when it comes to the actual outcome of the war. I've said this in many videos, but I don't feel any tension when even a remotely significant side character is in danger, and that is not ideal when you're trying to create a tense and gripping war arc. Also, it's one thing not to kill off your characters, and it's another one to make it look like they're going to die, like their bodies are sliced in half and their wounds are clearly fatal, but then they just miraculously recover thanks to some spell or power. This was clearly what just happened with Gauche and Gray. It's a fake out, and personally I don't like it. And I do understand why so many people are critical of this kind of stuff. Yes, I still like Black Clover, I absolutely love the characters and I want to see how their story ends. But that doesn't mean that I can't accept some valid criticism of the series. Okay guys, give me your honest opinion down in the comments. Do these fake out deaths bother you, or do you not care? Black Clover is not the only series that has done this, of course. MHA and JJK and plenty of others have done it too. I mean, even One Piece had our boy Pell the Falcon, but again, it's totally fair to critique this type of stuff. Now for the second and bigger controversy, the fact that Asta basically became an anti-magic god who is now able to grant others the ability to use anti-magic. Some are saying that this is just too OP, while others are claiming that this shouldn't even be possible based on the rules that have been established in the story. If anti-magic is supposed to nullify all magic, and Asta only wields it because he was born without any magic, then shouldn't the other Black Bulls be incapable of wielding it because they do have magic of their own? Well, we have seen instances of anti-magic working together with other types of magic in the past. and specifically through the Demon Dweller sword, as I mentioned earlier when I talked about Noel's water magic working with Asta's anti-magic in chapter 19. We have to remember that anti-magic is not just an invisible force like gravity that automatically nullifies all forms of magic no matter what. If it was, then it wouldn't have its own attacks and you wouldn't need to even draw it in the manga, it would just be a force that's always present around Asta. Anti-magic is actually a form of energy which has its own shape and presence and which can be controlled. And so now that Asta has mastered Zetten and learned how to control his energy much more effectively, he is able to share some of it with people that he is particularly close to. The Demon Dweller has always been able to absorb the magic of others and connect the wielder to his allies. But Asta has now found a way to reverse that effect, and instead of absorbing the magic of allies, he gave them his anti-magic. It's actually been implied before that this sword can bestow power onto others, so you could argue that this was foreshadowed. With that said, saying that this insane new anti-magic twist can be explained within the magical world of Black Clover is not the same thing as saying that you like this twist or that you think it is good writing. I think it's totally fair to point out that anti-magic was special precisely because only Asta could use it. And if Tabata makes it so that all the Black Bulls can now use it too, it cheapens the importance and dilutes the uniqueness of anti-magic. But at the same time, I personally think that teamwork in battle is one of Black Clover's biggest strengths. So I am kind of intrigued to see what this ultimate Black Bull's anti-magic teamwork might look like in the final battle. I'm also curious to see how anti-magic will be wielded by people who were already born with other types of magic. Will they somehow be able to combine the two powers like the Demon Dweller sword does? Or will the anti-magic just prevail and cancel out their original magic attributes? What do you guys think? Are you on board with Asta using the Demon Dweller sword to bestow anti-magic onto his allies like some sort of anti-magic dispensing deity? Or do you think this is too overpowered and maybe a step too far? Don't forget to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. With a controversial chapter like this that is absolutely inflaming the fandom on social media, I always like to get a good conversation going down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Leave a quick like right now. And if you haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, do me a quick favor and make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. We are trying to hit 2 million subscribers on this channel. That would be absolutely incredible. So every single subscription counts. By the way, you can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.